Update 2.0 completely overhauls most of Cyberpunk 2077 systems, including perks, cyberware, clothing, and enemy AI. So I'm sharing an updated Sandevistan Blademaster build, which combines power and fun, updated and optimized for Cyberpunk 2.0. So let's get started. The Sandevistan Blademaster version 2 will take advantage of knives, katanas, mantis blades, the incredibly overpowered and broken Sandevistan cyberware, and optical camo to become an invisible, physics-defying, lethal killing machine. In terms of weapons, your main slot should be a knife. The higher the damage number you can get, the better. Ignore speed because you won't be swinging this thing multiple times, you will just be throwing it. A great choice is the Headhunter knife, which you can purchase from a melee weapons merchant in Pacifica. In your second slot, go for a katana. Here is where you want to focus on getting the highest DPS possible, so damage and speed. I just went with a legendary katana I bought, but you can go for an iconic like Satori if you wish. For your third slot, you're going to want some kind of ranged weapon to use in car chase combat. I found it best to go with an automatic smart pistol. Skippy is a great choice. You can only use the katana on a motorbike, you can't use large weapons like assault rifles or shotguns in any vehicle, and you can't use the katana in any cars, so the safest bet is to use a pistol. It doesn't have to be auto or smart, that's just what I prefer for this build. Smart allows you to use the smart link when using the gun on foot. When driving, you can auto target regardless of it being smart or not, so a power pistol with the ballistic coprocessor cyberware is also viable. So this is the cyberware setup I went with for this build. My cyberware limit is right at the limit, it's perfectly at 176, so it's pretty well balanced, and my armor is at 426, which is not that high, but I think it's about as high as I can get without speccing more into technical ability, which I obviously haven't done. If you want to increase your armor, you'll have to invest more in technical ability, which I haven't done. So for operating system, I just have a legendary Sandevistan. There is a better Sandevistan to go for, it's the one that Fingers gives you, but I beat him up, I punched him in this playthrough, so I don't have access to it. If you do have access to it, or if you haven't done that quest yet, don't punch Fingers and you can get a better Sandevistan from him. So for eyes, I went with just legendary Kuroshis, nothing special here. For Smart Link, I just went with a legendary Smart Link for my pistol, which I use for vehicle combat. By the way, I'm not going to go over all of the effects of all of these because I want this video to not be like 30 minutes long. I also went for circulatory system, micro rotors, heal on kill, which is massively important, so is micro rotors, and adrenaline booster, another super important cyberware to have. For legs, I have reinforced tendons. For integumentary system, subdermal armor, optical camo, and proxy shield. Nervous system, I have neofiber, Krasnikov, and adrenaline converter. For skeleton, bionic joints, universal booster. For arms, I went for mantis blades. I hovered over each of these as I went through them, so if you want to look at the effects they have, pause the video and have a read through. I'm not going to cover them because, like I said, I want this video not to be 57 million hours long. So let's go through our perks. Again, I'm not going to read all the effects. I'll hover over them so you can pause and read them if you want. So let's go for it. So for attributes, I went for body 20, reflexes 20, technical 8, and cool 20, which is no change from what this build was in version 1, because the level cap does not apply until Phantom Liberty, and you also don't unlock the relic tree until Phantom Liberty. So for Cyberpunk 2.0, this is all I can do. I may update this build again for Phantom Liberty. We'll see how well this video does. If it does well, I will do that. So for body, I went with Painkiller, Speed Junkie, Army of One, Comeback Kid, and Dwarf Head. I then went for Adrenaline Rush, all three, Calm Mind, Juggernaut, and Unstoppable Force, which used to be The Rock. I'm annoyed they changed that. Paint Again as well. So those are my body perks. For reflexes, I went for Stunt Jock, Slippery, Power Slide, Parkour, Mad Dash, Mean Streak, both levels of Dash, Can't Touch This, all three levels of Air Dash, aerial combat, aerodynamic, and tailwind. And then over here, we'll start at the bottom, lead and steel, bullet deflect, bullet time, flash of steel, opportunist, all 3 ranks of Blade Runner, going the distance, and slaughterhouse. And then in technical ability, we don't have 9, but the only reason I'm keeping points in technical ability is it increases your armor, and when Phantom Liberty does come out, I can increase my technical ability and get access to higher level perks. But for now, I just went for Glutton for War and Transfusion. And then in cool, I went for Road Warrior, Feline Footwork, all 3 levels of Ninjutsu, Serpentine, Creeping Death, Shinobi Sprint, and then over here, starting from the bottom, Killer Instinct, Scorpion Sting, Corrosion, Accelerated Toxin Absorption, Parasite, Neurotoxin, Juggler, all 3 ranks, also 2 ranks of Scorpion Sting, and Sight of Hand, and also Style over Substance. That is everything for perks and attributes because I didn't put anything in intelligence. I won't talk about the new skills because these just level up as you play. You don't actually choose anything here, everything you unlock is automatic. When it comes to clothes, don't worry about it too much. There are small stat boosts like a helmet that reduces melee damage, so if you find clothes with stat boosts like that, throw them on and then just set your custom outfit from your wardrobe. Some other things that I think are important to note for this build are: dash is good for closing distance from enemies. It almost makes the leap ability for the Mantis Blades a waste of time because it's almost just as fast, and if you have high stamina you can use it quite a lot. Air dash allows you to dash in mid-air, which is great for jumping up to and closing the gap on enemies above and away from you. You can also upgrade your Cyberware with crafting components, so you could upgrade your Mantis Blades if you want to make them the focus rather than the katana. I personally just switch between them at random to keep things fresh. Katana is probably more powerful, at least before upgrading the Mantis Blades. I would recommend purchasing the electrifying Mantis Blades instead of the regular ones, as I find the best use case for them, considering they are generally less powerful than the katana, is to only use them against mechs and robots, which are weak to electrical damage. I lost my electric mod on this build with 2.0 and I couldn't afford to buy the electric ones, but if you have the eddies, go for these instead of the normal physical damage ones. Deflect Bullets is a really cool and quite powerful and unique and just fun perk. It's especially powerful when Sandevistan is active, however I didn't find myself using it that often. I preferred a more aggressive approach, although when you do need to be more defensive or if you just enjoy the cool nature of deflecting bullets, it can be quite helpful and it's just fun to use. Finishers no longer rip you out of Sandevistan, so you don't have to worry about that anymore, which is great. Also important to note, very hard difficulty is actually very hard now, whereas before it was quite easy. Enemies are much smarter and they are much tankier, which means specific to this build, headshots with a thrown knife won't always be an instant kill anymore, like they were from stealth before 2.0, which makes stealth a lot more difficult. You may have to go back to regular stealth takedowns for enemies you can't one shot at range with the knife. All of this comes together to create an agile blade-wielding lethal killer that's as fun to play as it is powerful. If you plan on using the build, let me know in the comments. Also, since 2.0 is so new, it's very possible that I missed something here, so let me know if I did in the comments that would make the build even better. I'll leave you with a montage of what this build can do, sub to the channel to see more videos like this, and hopefully I'll talk to you in the next one.
I'm good! Useless piece of shit!